Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Real Talks. My name is David Steele. I hope everybody is having a fantastic day no matter what they're doing. So, we've got a big show today. And so, one of the stories I was going to do kind of just went to the wayside. We have some, when I say breaking news, guys, literally, this just came in my email 2 seconds ago. Hey, Dad, how are you? So this literally just came into my email 2 seconds ago. So as everybody knows, about the end of May. I interviewed Jeremy Fowler for the Wrap, and I have the Wrap Pro and everything else. We have casting for Superman Legacy. We have casting right now. This just literally dropped in my inbox. So this comes to us from Burl Gonzalez, okay? And David Corenswet is going to be playing the new Man of Steel in Superman Legacy. Okay, it was uh, announced just today that David's going to be playing the new iteration of Superman in Superman Legacy. Rachel Brosnahan has also been cast as Lois Lane, which means my guess is either in the next. So actually, let me backtrack a little bit. The story I was going to do was saying that the casting was imminent. Okay. I didn't think it was going to be imminent like today, right now. Okay. So that all being said, Rachel Brosnahan is going to be cast as Lois Lane. So, of course, he's replacing Henry Cavill in Man of Steel. And so Superman Legacy tells the story of Superman, his journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his upbringing as Clark Kent in Smallville, Kansas. He's the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way, guided by human kindness in a world that sees kindness as old-fashioned. Corenswet earned widespread acclaim for his breakout performance in the Netflix The Politician. He also recently starred in the acclaimed A24 indie movie Pearl. Netflix's Look Both Ways, and HBO's acclaimed miniseries We Own the City. He also wrote and directed and starred in this sketch comedy Mo and Jerry Weather. He will next be seen opposite Natalie Portman with the upcoming Apple television series The Lady in the Lake. Okay, let's talk about this because it's huge. This just, hey, Metal. So Superman Legacy casting just dropped literally as I was about ready to start the show. Um, this is huge. We finally have, and I, you know what? Truth be told, okay, truth be told, I kind of saw this coming, not the time, okay, because obviously this just happened, but yes, it is confirmed, Deb. It is confirmed. So this comes from the Wrap. Okay, this is the same guy that broke the Fast X spoiler. This is the same guy that broke the Legacy release date and has now broken the casting news for Superman Legacy. And that's huge. That's huge. So I would not be shocked or surprised if we got some sort of Lex Luthor type of casting within the next 24 hours or by the end of the week. This is the mystery has been solved to a certain extent. And that all being said, it's going to be curious to see who they get to play Lex Luthor. Because once again, as everybody knows, for me at least, it's all about story. And Gunn, we all know, is about story as well. And there's actually a piece I'm going to do later on talking about this. But more importantly, what does this mean? Like there are so many questions surrounding it. So obviously, screen testing had been going on for a while. They had kind of just done some screen testing. They were trying to figure out who's who, and now it's here. And it was interesting though in that piece. Okay, if you notice, it was very short, by the way. Okay, there was no release date. Now, I don't know what that means. I mean, it could mean that, hey, look, we're going to push Superman Legacy back. Or it's just, hey, look, there's so much stuff here that has to be unpacked that how do we do it? And I think that might have been it. But yes, so anybody who's just coming in, okay, we have breaking news literally in the last 5 minutes. We have Superman Legacy casting. So David Corenswet is actually going to be playing Lois Lane or Superman in Superman Legacy, and Rachel Brosnahan is going to be playing Lois Lane. Now she's done a lot of other things. I mean, so one of the earlier things that she did was House of Cards. So if anybody remembers that show on Netflix, of course she did The Marvelous Miss Maisel, and she's done plenty of other things. And I kind of feel bad. There's one person I feel really, really, really bad for, and that's Nicholas Hoult. So anybody who has watched the channel over the past few months knows what Nicholas Hoult's tried out for. This is his fourth role that he has lost out on. And he has to be saying to himself, what do I have to do to buy a role? Now, a couple years ago, just last year, he was in The Menu, and I loved him. Loved him. But this is the fourth role he's lost out on. So anybody who's familiar with what he went out for, okay, this is big. This is big. So this is big. You're right. It is metal. It is. Literally, this dropped in my inbox like 5 minutes ago. I was getting ready, prepping for the show, and this just came in. So I wanted to drop this news first. So this is breaking news. But I think the thing is that I feel really, 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 really bad for Nicholas Hoult. Because this is the fourth role he has had that he hasn't gotten. Okay? Now, he tried out for the Batman. Okay, the one that Robert Pattinson actually, that film, okay, the Matt Reeves film, he didn't get it. He was going to be a really, really intricate part in Mission Impossible 7. And because of contractual agreements with his Hulu and everything else, it was a scheduling conflict. And he was going to be a major part in that. And he didn't get that role. Then, okay, there was another role that he went out for that was a pretty big role that he didn't get. And now he doesn't get Superman Legacy. I feel so bad for him because, as I said, this is the fourth role he's gone out for and he hasn't gotten. And it's one of those things where he's got to be like, what do I have to do to buy a role? So, okay, so what I'm going to try and do, so I don't know if I have the picture here. Okay, I think, so that, just quickly, real quick, Nicholas Hoult is on the far left. Okay, that is the one that everybody thought that was the front runner, if you will. Okay, he had been screen tested. He was doing the costumes. Okay. David is, I believe this is David right here. Yes. Okay, I want to just double check for everybody. This is the man right here. Okay, right next to Nicholas. That is the one that is going to be playing Superman. Okay. Now, obviously, he's not going to be having the beard or anything. This was at a TIFF premiere that he was doing. So that is the guy. So I would just say this: take the goatee and the beard off of him. So over to here's Rachel Brosnahan. She is going to be the one that's playing Lois Lane. And so, I mean, those two are going to be, doing their thing. I mean, right there, I mean, it looks like a good match. It really does. I mean, she's pretty fair-skinned and everything else. I mean, there's going to be so many particulars about this. Okay. Now, so bear with me, guys. As I'm talking to you, I'm going to get a little information about David. And I mean, yes, about what he's done and everything, but how old he is and all that stuff. Um, so, so I want to, right now, it's one of those things where, um, so he was, okay, so here we go. So a little bit about him, okay? So that, as I said, he's known for those things, okay? Um, let's see if we can't find a little bit of a bio here. Um, okay, so he's 6'4". He's actually going to be celebrating a birthday on July 8th. So he's from Philadelphia. And yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where he looks the part. He looks the part. He's 6'4". I mean, now you have to understand too, okay, you have to have somebody in that's kind of his what am I trying to say? His equal, right? So now okay, as I said, so she's won an Emmy before, okay, but she's most known for House of Cards, like I said, in the first couple seasons, Marvelous Miss Maisel, okay. Um, and guys, sorry, I'm stuttering and bearing with because this is literally breaking news. This just dropped off the wire from the Wrap. So she's 5'3". Okay, she'll be celebrating her birthday in the middle of July, and so there's a big difference there. There is a big, big, big difference there. Um, that's huge. That's huge. So I think Gunn should push back Blue Beetle till next year and scrap Aquaman. Well, I mean that's something to be said about that. I mean, it's kind of hard to scrap Blue Beetle right now because we're only six. We're not even. We're a little less than a month away. And I think the thing is that it's very difficult to do because you've got all the publicity out there, you've got release dates, and you know, um, I could see Aquaman maybe, but I don't know about that. Cast Holt as Jimmy Olsen and Mackie as Lana Lane. Yeah, there's a thought. There's a thought. There's a thought. Although I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where maybe, but it's going to be interesting to see how they do this. So, but so the first and foremost thing I notice, okay, is there's a huge not age, but height difference. Okay, usually actors and actresses, they're relatively right around the same height, the foot difference. Okay, so what does this mean? I think that's a big thing to dive into. What does this mean? It means a couple of things. Number one, well, it means we have official casting. Number two, I guess my question is, since you had, and he's going to have to, and he'll do the transformation and everything else, he's going to have to get very fit physically and everything else. But you have to make sure you cast the correct Lex Luthor if you're going to go down that route. I mean, there are a ton of villains you can do for Superman, but assuming they do Lex Luthor to start, okay, it's going to be fascinating to see who they cast because it has to be somebody to his equal. I could maybe see, if you're going to do that, I could maybe see a Nicholas Holt as a Lex Luthor. I mean, I think that take off the hair there and do a little photoshopping. I think you could see him be not a Jimmy Olsen, but a Lex Luthor. I think that it would work. I do. Um, James Gunn casting most white actors when uh, where black and Latino actors in this film. I don't know, and that's that's always a thing. That's always a thing. So I don't know. I can't answer that for you, Kevin. Um, this is Superman has always been a default character that can be anything. Because remember, he's not human. I don't know. Um, I'm sure we're going to find out many months from now that you know this person tried and that person tried out, and at the end of the day, Kevin, it comes down to this: you never want to put an actor into a role that doesn't fit them, right? So you never want to shoehorn an actor in there that's not the same, not ready to be, you know, because both of their lives. See, that's the thing. Both of their lives have changed, completely changed now. This is a world. I mean, think about it like this. Okay, think about it like this. When you have a huge casting like this, okay, the thing is that this is a worldwide thing. Okay, this isn't just a United States thing. This is a worldwide thing. This is like Daisy Ridley being cast as Ray, completely changed her life. This is like any big role you can imagine for big franchise. Because don't forget, here's the thing: this isn't just one role. It's the one role in Superman, but this is a commitment. This is a commitment, and you're talking 4, 5, 6 years. So to your point, they have to be able to adapt and change with that. Um, yeah, absolutely. So the full cast hasn't been. Okay, yeah. So it was just these two. Um, the lineup is okay. I got to see a trailer. So we're not going to probably see a trailer for 6 months at least. At least. I mean, there's a number of things going into this, right? Number one, you have the writer's strike going on. Number two, you know, you have to. I mean, they were still in pre-production. My guess is cameras aren't even going to begin starting to roll in this until the beginning of 2024, because you're going to at least need 6 to 9 to 12 months for post, at least. So, but this is huge, guys. This is absolute. So the story I was going to do is who is going to be cast, right? This is absolutely huge. Yeah. So anybody coming in right now, as I said, this just broke in the last 5 minutes that David Corenswet is going to be playing the new Man of Steel in Superman Legacy, and Rachel Brosnahan. Okay. So it's the one on the left, the gentleman there, right here in the second one, and then the young lady who's on the far right. That is the Superman Lois Lane. Now, I think it's a big thing. And and the last thing I'll say is this: they're trying to. You always have to think a step ahead, right? At least I do. What is the big thing that's gone wrong this week? The Flash. It dropped 73%. I think, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, guys. I think what they're doing is they're throwing a curveball. They are making people. It's like when HBO Max said, "We're going to rebrand, okay, but yeah, we're being investigated off by the DOJ, but we're going to take all these titles off." It's the same concept, okay. The fact is that the Flash just lost 73% at the theaters this last weekend. Okay, this is probably going to be on VOD or on whatever July 4th. They are trying to basically make people look the other way. Guess what, guys? We've got a brand new thing for Superman Legacy. And they cast it. Mark my words, within the next 24 to 48 hours, you're going to hear no Flash talk. You're not going to hear any Flash talk. Why? Because, let's face it, this is the major thing going on, right? This is the perennial movie that's going to start this whole thing. I think that all being said, Gunn knows what he's doing. And we all question him and say, oh, was this the right move or was that the right move? They know exactly what they're doing. Now, are they in deep trouble? Absolutely. Absolutely. But they also know one casting like this and the internet breaks. This is Tuesday afternoon on the West Coast, guys. It's 1:25 here on the West Coast in the afternoon. And this is going to break the internet. And nobody in the next 24 to 48 hours is going to be talking about the Flash. I guarantee you, you go on Twitter right now, it's blowing up. There are spaces being done about this. Okay? Hell, I'm doing a show about this. I walked into this, but this was going to be one of the major stories. Okay? This is a worldwide thing. And this is why I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is why James Gunn wanted to head this off at the pass. Okay? You're telling me Gunn had no idea? Of course he did. He knew all he had to do was throw him a curveball. Hey, guys, look over here. And everybody's going to take the bait. I'm fully taking the bait, too. So, I'm one of those guys that's going to do the same thing. If even DC Studios' upcoming films, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, are good films, people will not go out and support them, these films, to make it a box office success. Sad to say. Here's the thing. You write about one thing, okay? The lack of productive films that they've had, okay, has really killed DC. It really has. But I think The Flash was an anomaly. Okay, I've talked about this ad nauseum. Okay, you guys have talked about it here in the chat. There were so many things that went wrong with The Flash. Okay, part was their fault, part wasn't their fault. Okay, part was their fault because you had the writer's strike. Okay, part was not their fault with Ezra Miller doing what he did. Okay, it was their fault that they showed multiple fan screenings. Okay, across the country, because that's millions and millions and millions of dollars out of out of their pocketbooks and their wallets. All of the reviews, the majority of the reviews that came out of CinemaCon were positive. So, and there is from what I understand, and I could be wrong about this, there is a rule of thumb that if you are watching something there, you kind of don't want to give your opinion, your real opinion. So if you thought, by the way, we don't even know if that was a finished product. There were 3 different endings to this film. I did a whole piece about that a couple weeks ago. Okay? There were 3 different endings to this film. They were still testing it out up until its release date. There were a lot of problems. So to say that people won't support it, people may not support Blue Beetle as they should. People will absolutely support this in a heartbeat because they know, once again, it's James Gunn. And so there's a story here. So anyways, guys, let me compound it by saying this. What do you guys think about this breaking news that David Corenswet is going to be Superman and Rachel Brosnahan is going to be Lois Lane? Do you like these castings? Do you think they're good? Who would you like to see play Lex Luthor? Who would you like to see play Jimmy Olsen? Leave your thoughts down in the comments and I'll get back to everybody.